What is going on, everybody? What is going on? Welcome to this week's episode 88 of the STS Guys. I am Jeremy.
Hey, it's Larry.
Hey guys, it's Nate.
Scott's out sick.
Scott's out sick. So then this week we also have two guests as well. So guys, if you go ahead and introduce yourselves as well.
Who goes first? I'll go first. I'm Rick.
I'm Piper.
And they are from the Pop Collectors Alliance. So welcome to the show this week, guys. Happy to have you guys on.
Yay.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, guys.
Yeah, it's definitely you guys are knocking out each one of the pop podcasts one at a time.
We're trying unintentional, but we did we did intentionally space you guys out because we had Talking Pops on right after Emerald City, so it must have been like March. Yeah. So we're back. The STS Guys, we're Talking Pops again, but this time we've got Pop Collectors Alliance, which is pretty cool. Like if people aren't familiar with Pop Collectors Alliance, what are you guys?
Well, I'll take it. Well, I'll take a little bit, and then Piper will come in, and I'll let him finish it off because Piper always he has the spice. I'm kind of the boring one. We'll go with that. But no, I think what we do at the Pop Collectors Alliance that may be different than other pop podcasts is that we're not the shiny, always positive type guys. We try to cover everything from new releases to some of the leaks to some of the what do we like to say, conspiracies or things that go in the background. Like to give everybody the raw picture of what it is like to collect, because we all know that there's the positive side of collecting, and I think that we agree that one great thing with Funko is the friendships, but we like to mix it up a little bit. Did I get that right, Piper?
Yeah, I didn't know that there was a positive side to collecting, so I learned something new just now. So I appreciate that. Yeah, I would definitely say we are realists. We are not the unpaid promotional tool of anybody's company. If anything, we make people sad by the things we say. But I think the scene needs that. Like any collecting community needs that kind of reliable source that's not going to just like sugarcoat everything.
That's awesome. Sadness and pain. Like so
I'm real negative. So
sadness and pain
makes you trustworthy when you bring in the sadness and the pain. Like, okay, these guys are real.
Yeah, I think so. I hope so. Know.
Cool. I think so too. Like, so you guys do a little bit of everything, which is awesome. I don't know exactly how I first found out about you, but it was definitely the podcast. I don't remember if it was just like a random like search through iTunes or whatever or Spotify, but like a while back I started listening to your podcast, and like the main message, like you start off talking about like flipper free zone, being just kind of building that community and all that stuff. And I think that's really cool. So if you guys didn't know that you guys have a podcast, you post up, like you said, stuff on Twitter and Instagram about new releases, news, that kind of stuff. But you also have a really cool like Facebook group, which I'm not the biggest fan of Facebook groups, so I avoided it, but I did sign up this week. It's actually really cool. You got a lot of interaction, like you said, I feel like your main message is positivity. There's a lot of positivity in that Facebook group, right?
Hey, disclaimer to this, Rico.
Yeah.
All Facebook and Facebook associated properties are amazing.
I meant Funko Facebook groups. So some of them are bad, man, right? Like we're all you all have to have been in a bad Funko Facebook group where it's just either people flipping or so much negativity. I haven't seen that in your guys' group yet, at least.
Well, I think we do a really good job of killing that as soon as it starts to arise. But I mean, talking about bad groups, Ricky and I constantly have conversations behind the curtain about a couple of them.
Yeah, it's a unique thing, and you're exactly right. One thing that we do in our group is we try to keep it positive, and because like we said before, there's a lot of negativity in the other groups. And I think that comes from and stems from a lot of selling and doing deals with people in that aspect. What we try to do is promote community, build relationships, and even on the back end, we have a Discord server with our patrons. And if you go in one layer deeper, like we say, you have our page, our group, and then the Patreon and Discord. It's like almost like a family. It's 67 people now, I think 68 people, and it's family.
That's cool. I was in one of those pay to play Discord groups for a while. I won't name it, but right, like it was, I don't know, it just wasn't for me. Because it was like, it's a lot of these I think were set up by shoe people, right? Sneakerheads and stuff. Like that's what the one I joined was, and it was so much focused on just like, hey, what can I make the most money off of? You know, this is a brick. Don't buy this when a Funko Shop release comes up. I just got tired of it, and I got tired of them hitting me up for like $20 a month. So I bailed on that because it was way too flipper focused for me. So that's cool. I like that, right? Like I think we're all like, one of the best parts about Funko is making friends, right? Like we talking to you guys, talking to Talking Pops, talking to, you know, got a whole bunch of people in our chat that I feel like are our friends now, and a lot of that's based from that Funko community. So it's just cool that there's kind of a safe zone where you can be and just like feel like people aren't going to try to take advantage of you, because there's so much of that out there too.
No, I absolutely agree with that. Just because, like I said, I just recently moved from out of state to Texas, and so that's one of the things that's one of the first connections I made was actually through the local Funko group here in Austin. And so, like I said, it's been it's an amazing group of people. Like I said, it's great interacting with those guys, and like I said, it's starting to create some friendships here locally as well.
Yeah, you guys are in Texas too, right? Both of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and outside of Facebook, you guys promote a lot of, you know, meetups and stuff, right? I heard in your podcast you're talking about, hey, we're going to be here, or hey, this event's going on. So it seems like you're really active in that community and trying to keep it together and, you know, supporting it. So that's cool.
Yeah, I think one of the big things that we try to do, we just did Fan Expo Dallas. We actually did a panel with Sully and the guys from Talkin' Pop. They came down for Fan Expo Dallas. We did a panel and we had like a little booth where we set up, but we're going to be doing like a local pop swap. We do a lot of those. And then actually, I haven't officially announced it, but do something like where we get a whole movie theater and go watch it too. So we try to keep people there. Unfortunately for us, we're kind of nationwide, so not everybody can come, but if you're in the Texas area, we always encourage people to come out.
Yeah, it seems like the Texas community is pretty good, right? Like there's such an awesome Texas podcast community, right? With like I've known about forever with Sully, 3 Beers and a Mic, there's a Rebel radio podcast, whatever that Star Wars one's called. Like there's so many good podcasts coming out of Texas. Like I honestly didn't realize you guys were there until you were at Dallas Fan Expo. I'm like, they're in Texas too. So that's pretty cool.
I did not realize that either.
Yeah. So
it is
Jeremy,
like 15 states though, so it's equivalent. To like
yeah, I know. Though, well, I don't want to speak for Jeremy, but like I know Jeremy wanted to go to Dallas Fan Expo, but from Austin it's like a 2+ hour drive or something.
Yeah,
so yeah, just because you're in Texas doesn't mean you're close to everything.
No, and Ricky and I are pretty far apart. He's up in the Fort Worth area, and I'm in Waco, so which is unfortunate. So
yeah, that's cool. So if I know my
you come up, you can pick up Piper on your way up here to come and see me. It's Jeremy, right, that lives in Austin?
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. I think Waco's between the two.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. It's smack dab in the middle.
You don't hear many people from Waco. My dad used to live there. It's definitely a smaller part of Texas, but it's still awesome in its own right.
It's getting big now, man.
Didn't they have those crazy guys who like did some hostages or something?
That's the immediate response that everybody has.
That's all I know about Waco, man. Sorry.
So Waco has a whole different image nowadays. It used to be that. Yeah. So now it's all the Chip and Joanna Gaines from HGTV that everyone's basically, you know, the fixer upper, all that other stuff that goes on there.
I think Piper is even equally disturbed by both of those. It's like David Koresh to making up houses. He hates them equally, I think.
You know what? I would rather have crazy people in the area than people that are just bringing my property taxes up. So I mean, one of them I don't have to pay more for. So
I do have to agree with that. Like, so the property tax situation in Texas, that's a good ouch. Like I said, my property tax is actually off on a weird different tangent, or actually almost more than my mortgage payment.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Wow. Jeez, crazy.
That's different.
Thanks for tuning in to the tax show where your property taxes.
So Keith in the chat says Carbuck beer is the best. Carbuck Hopadillo. Yes, this is the best.
Nice. So you guys spent like a lot of time at Dallas Fan Expo, right? Like you had, I actually want to talk to you about the booth. I have a couple Texas Con questions that I really want to know about. But let's stick on Dallas Fan Expo for a minute. Why did you guys decide to do the booth, right? So you set up a booth. I think you had like a wheel, right, to spin. People could come up and win some prizes. Like, how did that go down?
Well, so at Fan Expo Dallas, I've had a relationship with Fan Expo for about 5 years. We used to exhibit there. That's how, before I got into the podcast and stuff, we had an actual exhibitor booth where we would sell things and retail, right? So then based upon that relationship, I was actually at Toy Fair New York this year, and I ran into Sully, and I was like, hey, you want to come down to Fan Expo Dallas? Just thinking, because I've talked to him a couple times. I'm like, there's no way he's going to say yes. And he's like, sure, I'll come down. We're going to do, I think they did something down there with Funimation or something like that. And he was down and did the panel. And then I said, hey, Talking Pop, you want to come down? And then based on previous relationships with Fan Expo, they were like, sure, we'll give you a booth. So we really lucked out just from being an exhibitor to now having actually what they call a community booth. So,
and they gave us prime real estate right across from the public library and the kids play area.
Yeah, I listened to your podcast. There's a good story about that too, right? They bounced you all around and then you ended up in front of the library.
Yeah.
Random, but whatever. Like, it's cool. I think that's awesome. Like, that's a really good way. Like, you don't see a lot of podcasts doing that here. Like, our main convention is Phoenix Comic Con. There's like really little to no podcast support. It sounds like a lot of the Texas stuff. I think it's Dallas Fan Expo that has the actual like podcasting area, isn't it? Or is it Houston Comic Palooza? Like, one of them has like a whole podcast area. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. I wish more cons would kind of do that and support the podcasters. Like, it's a good way for, like, there's so many like pop culture podcasts, right? Talking comic books or movies and stuff. Like, it would be cool to get us in front of fans like easily. That way you can come up and be like, hey, what are you guys talking about? So I really thought that was a cool idea that you were able to get out there. It sounded like you had a ton of interaction at your booth, right? People won some prizes. Then they all came to your panel like later that day and stuff. So that was awesome.
Yeah, it was about 150 people that wanted to meet Sully, but hey, I'll take it.
Hey, whatever. Hey, man, you were there too. You organized it. You deserve all the credit.
It gets people in the door. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Right.
That's
and
cool.
Then they remember you, and right. You need that opening. Cause like I said, there's a million podcasts out there. But once they hear you guys, right, they can see the charm and be like, hey, that's something I want to spend an hour of my week listening to.
Let's do it. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. So have you been to Houston Comic Palooza?
I went there. I was going to actually go there this year, but I couldn't make it down. But yes, I've been there before. I was there last year. I do like Comic Palooza a lot. I think it's grown. I mean, every con, right? Can we say that at this point? Every con over the last 5 years has blown up. And even the big ones have even gotten bigger. New York Comic Con now, there's more foot traffic than San Diego. I mean, you have a lot more people in attendance to that. And even Fan Expo Dallas, it was, I would say when we started in 2014 or 2014, there were maybe 20,000 people. And the past 2 years, it's been over 70,000.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know if Phoenix announced their numbers this year or last year, but I know at least like 2 years ago, they were 70,000 plus. It's crazy.
No, it gets crazy in regards to, like I said, just the pop culture phenomenon kind of all together. It just, like I said, it's no longer, like I said, one of those things to where, like I said, it's cool to be a part of. Say you're going to a con. It's not something that you have to hide anymore. It's like, oh yeah, what are you doing? Oh, I'm spending my vacation at Comic-Con. Now it's like, hey, where are you going? Oh, you were lucky enough to get into Comic-Con. Like it's just a completely different vibe and completely different environment compared to kind of the social norms of what it used to be.
Yeah, and I love Larry's idea of, like, let's integrate podcasts more into these cons, because it's becoming a big part of the culture. There's more and more podcasts nowadays. People are very supportive of these podcasts. They help build these communities. It seems like a natural evolution to have these be more and more part of cons. There's podcasters I would love to meet. So I think it's really cool that you guys were able to get a booth there. It makes me excited to see what kind of stuff we're going to see in the future, at other cons.
Yeah. I'm probably going to mispronounce this, but Taps Fan in the chat says you figure cons would allow basically free press from podcasts. I mean, that's what it is, right? We're out, like, whenever we go to a con, we always talk about it the weeks leading up to it. We do a whole episode about it afterwards or during, usually, right? Like Phoenix, we always do it the Saturday. So if somebody wants to listen Saturday night, they can come hang out on Sunday still. So yeah, it's free press. You don't have a lot of people talking, especially nationwide, right? Maybe like the local news station is going to talk to it, but like who our age watches the news anymore on regular TV?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Right. So my question about Houston Comic Palooza, like Jeremy recently moved to Texas, right? Like I want to go visit Jeremy. Comic Palooza and Fan Expo are about the same time of the year. Like if I had to choose one, which one would you guys think I should go to? Because I could probably pull off one.
Well, if you go off of guests, I don't know, because I get so tied into last week's episode where the Q&As were like, who's your biggest celebrity crush, right? And
Yeah.
I don't like, celebrity in general. It's not something that's ooh and ah for me, but there was one at Comic Palooza this year that I am super depressed I did not go down and get, and that was the Mother of Dragons. Amelia Clark was there. And I was like, man, I would pay $200 for that autograph. I would. I mean, hey, I'll admit it. I'm not going to complain about it. Let's not talk about season 8, but still, I would say probably the way the convention hall is set up, I would go with Comic Palooza. Sorry, Fan Expo. It's just there's a lot more room at Comic Palooza. So
Cool.
You do have to admit that Fan Expo really they upped their game this last year, because the year before it was bad. They fixed a lot of things, and I know that they're working on it for sure.
yeah.
Well, I think venue definitely has a lot to do with your experience at a con. I mean, we have a local con, even though it's a great con, it has kind of a weird venue, Ace, and it's in like an old ice rink, and you can imagine like the middle.
Hold on. It's our National Hockey League arena. It's where the Arizona Coyotes play. It is not an old.
Is it down there, down by the Westgate Center? The Westgate Center?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay. I used to live in Phoenix, so I lived in Surprise, so West Valley.
Yep, just south of Surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, Larry's right. It just kind of gives me that vibe of an older rink, I guess, just because
not,
of the way it's designed.
It's not super state of the art.
Yeah, it's got that smaller bottom floor where they have the exhibitors, and then they have a top floor where they have all the people that you meet. It just feels a little bit, I don't know. It just doesn't flow very well, and it kind of ruins the experience. Even though it's a great con, I enjoy something that has more of an open floor plan because it gives me more space to enjoy and see everything.
Well, Nate, to your point though, like I said, and I said, so Larry, it is a bit older because, like I said, even the monitors, like so, for example, like during the hockey season, they're still CRT monitors. They're not even LCD screens.
They got a guy with a crank in a film just like recording the hockey games. Right. Hey, stream this live.
It's like Fenway Park. They have to have like somebody, or no, Wrigley Field where they have to change the score manually.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool though. I mean, they did use those to project some of the interviews, but they were old TVs, so you don't really get the full experience. You're like, wait, who is that? Oh, okay. Yeah,
it's true. It's not as state of the art as it could be, but it's not a riggy dink like hockey rig where you take your kids. It is our professional sports arena.
But it is kind of weird though, because when you think about a convention center and how that would be set up, right? Normally with San Diego, I think San Diego is the best con, but way the logistics of that building. The rows are so narrow. I was there in 2016. I think 2016 was the last one I went to, or 2017. 2017. Yeah. And I got by the Warner Brothers booth or whatever booth was over there by the Funko booth. And all the guys from Stranger Things came out on the top, and it was like that overlook. And I had to use the bathroom. 50,000 people just stopped. And they would not move. And I'm like, we gotta figure a better way about this, guys.
That's so true, because San Diego's great, but it's just there's so many people, and you feel like a bunch of sardines just packed together. Kind of a similar situation like you had. One year I was there, the cast of Suicide Squad came out, and the whole floor just got so flooded. I couldn't move. I had to wait for it to, die down before I could even go anywhere. So, it's huge, but there's just so many people that it just doesn't flow that well sometimes.
Yeah.
I got stuck by the WB booth once it's like the Clash to Flash was done with their signing. So they were going out through the back, and we had to stand there for like 15 minutes because they lock it down because they know they're coming out. They lock it down as they're going like one by one out, out to the exit. It's like if you gotta pee, man, like it's not a good time.
Done.
Just go, man. Just go.
Just go.
You go, man.
I'm not gonna piss my pants in front of Grant Gustin. Sorry. Maybe I would.
Yeah, just you got to wear the pins, man. You got to be dedicated.
That's hardcore right there, man.
You know what though? I said you laugh. I'm sure there's many people who have done it.
Oh, I was listening. I listen to Howard Stern a lot, and Richard on that show goes to concerts all the time, and he always talks about how he wears the pins so he doesn't have to leave the show or use the bathroom. He just doesn't miss anything at a concert. So there are some dedicated people out there. I would guarantee it.
I don't want to stand by that guy in the Hall H line.
Yeah. You know, there's some Hall H campers that are full on, like I said, diapering it up.
So, yeah, Hall H, that's a great experience, said no one ever. When I went and I watched, because isn't DC like skipping all of SDCC this year?
Yeah.
So they're not even doing Hall H.
It's because even though Marvel hasn't announced it yet, Marvel's going to just like freaking lay it out like on top of everything.
Yeah. All of their what is it called? Wave 4? What's the
Phase 4? Sir.
Phase 4. Yeah.
Phase 4. So they're coming full on Phase 4. Like even though they haven't announced it like officially yet, that's happening. So they know there's no point.
I mean, the least that DC could do is at least bring Robert Pattinson there and say, "Hey,
we're sorry,
man." But yeah, no, Hall H. So when I was there and I waited. One of the biggest, and maybe this turns into like an SDCC FAQ, but one of the biggest things that you never anticipate when you go to San Diego is the waits. I mean, you were waiting for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite thing to say is like, no matter how bad I want something, there's always like 1,000 people who want it more than me. Like you're talking Hall H, you're talking like crappy exclusives. Like there's lines for everything, man.
The Lego minifigures, man.
Yes.
Those little Lego minifigures.
Yeah, a stupid Lego minifigure that if it was just at the Walmart, nobody would care about it. But people are waiting 8 hours.
You throw a clear package on it.
Yeah,
because you can't sell the one from Walmart for $300.
Yeah, exactly.
Stupid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely takes dedication to get the exclusives that you're after. I'm not a big pop guy, but I collect Mezco. And I went there first thing on Thursday morning last year. And you're waiting outside to get into the con. Then you wait to get into the con inside. And then once you're inside, you still wait another 2.5 to 3 hours just to get the product. And then it's limited to one. And I got people DMing me like, "Hey, give me one of those." I'm like, I am not doing that again. Sorry.
That's
I got mine. I'm leaving. Yeah.
So I do have a question though. Like I said, this brings up a good question. What is, and I said Larry and Nate to answer too. So what is the longest you've ever waited for, like I said, like in line for something, like for like an exclusive, a print, or like what's the longest that you've ever waited?
I will go first. SDCC 2015, pre-lottery, pre-iPad for Funko.
Oh no!
Walk up booth, right? Like your only choice was to walk up. The first day we got up kind of early. I mean, I don't know, maybe like 5. But the second day I got up at 3 a.m. and got in line. Like I felt like I had a good spot. I was like an easy football toss away from the escalators. I was probably like 20 people away from those down escalators. And I did not get into the Funko booth. So that's like 3 a.m. to like 9:30. So what's that, 6-7 hours? That's probably the longest I've ever waited for anything. And I got nothing.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's awful.
How about you, Nate?
I'm going to say it's probably similar to that mark, the 6 hours, because it was just, I was talking about Mezco last year. I woke up early in the morning, got in line, which was outside. So that was probably like 5 in the morning, 5:30 that I got there, and then waited to get into the con. And then you have to wait in another waiting room. And then I waited there for probably 2.5 hours. And then once I got on the floor, I ran to the Mezco line, and I ran like as soon as the doors opened, and I still waited another 2.5 hours to purchase the items from that booth. So all in all, it's probably about 6.5.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
What about you, Piper?
All right, I think Ricky and I both have everyone beat. Because if we can include drive time, we spent 42 hours to get to the HBO shop to get the Metallic Children of the Forest. We drove from Dallas Fort Worth to New York City, almost straight through, and then as soon as we get there, park the car, run to HBO, and we waited in line then for 6 hours.
Wow.
Oh, dude, it's hell on earth. It was the worst ever. Like,
What do they say? Those are rookie numbers, guys. You got to get those numbers up. Those are rookie
yeah, you
numbers.
gotta be, and you know what? I'm the kind of person, I'm like, I will not wait for something. If there's a line, if I were to go like, okay, talking about like crappy chase, like I'm gonna go to like Hot Topic and there's like I don't know, something stupid.
It's a Twinkie.
There you go. Yeah. So there, Target, we're going to get a Twinkie chase. If there's 2 people waiting outside, I'm like, I'm going to work. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and wait. That's just me. I'm too old for that now. That's just
that hurts. Well, especially now, especially with that restock.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just like I said, ouch. That's a long wait. I think mine. I said it was actually at where Scott was this year, as at the con in Vegas, and so there's a DC artist there. Like I said, hot DC artist based in Fabric, and he brought with him, like, say, a certain number of sketches, and the guy was delayed at the airport, and I think I waited in this line for a good 5 hours.
Oh man!
And like I said, there was maybe 8 people ahead of me the entire time. 8 people, and I still barely made the cutoff.
Wow.
For that.
So added context, because I was with Jeremy, right?
You were with me.
Jeremy did get in line first, and I cut him. But during the time Jeremy's waiting for Jason Fabok, I got a photo taken with Stanley and got a Stanley autograph. Did all that, went over. Jeremy's still standing in line.
Oh man. Yeah. I think mine, if you're gonna just pure waiting in line, was Emerald City Comic Con 2018 when they had the Bigfoots at HQ. That's actually where I met the Talking Pops. So Mike and Josh, I met them in line there, and I was there. I think I got in line. Man, I want to say I met them the second day, but the first day I was there, I want to say 9 hours, because I got there at 1 or 2 in the morning, and we waited until 10 in the morning or 11 in the morning when they opened. And then I think one of the things about cons that people don't realize, regular non-con goers, is that there's the people like us that wait outside, but then there's all the vendors and the people they've gotten to come into the convention that are waiting at the booths when the doors open. So you've got to take into account that additional 20 to 30 people, because remember, Piper, when we were at New York City Comic Con the first day,
Bait.
Yeah, Bait had like 30 people in line, and we were the first people through the door to get just the Bruce Lees. But
we broke the rules to get in first, and we did. We broke rules to get in. Ricky did, especially. They left me behind to die outside. But so we get in, and there's already a line around Bait, and we're like, "What the heck happened? How did this nonsense occur?" But yeah, it's literally every vendor there. They set up. I mean, I can't say anything about that because when we were at Fan
Expo, we definitely took advantage of that situation.
We got some connect.
It sucks when you're on the other side.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody else is doing it.
No, it reminds me, Larry and Nate, of when we went to Designer Con.
Yeah.
So as press, I said we got in early. So like, okay, we can get to the Funko booth because I said we're getting in early. But then, like I said, everyone else who had like vendor friends and everything else, there was basically a whole bunch of fanatics that were already in the line and everything else like that. Yeah. It was there's probably a good like 40 people already there before the doors even opened.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's rough, man. It's rough out there.
Yeah, Scott put in the chat the Metacom booth. So we went, first night at Designer Con. I was going after Metacom. I wanted one of those Bear Brick cereals. And I waited in line pretty much the whole night and didn't even make it to the front. I decided just to give up because it was not moving. It was literally at a standstill.
Oh, we walked by you a couple times, right? We were circling around. We'd walk by.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Nate. Oh, hey, Nate. But you were within like 3 feet. Like you maybe moved 3 feet in like 3 hours. It was bad.
Yeah. And then I go back the next day and it's like I don't know. Jeremy was in line, 20 minutes and you got everything you wanted.
Yes, not even.
Like,
Yeah.
what was the point?
I literally walked up.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's, I think the official DesignerCon website still has those available for sale. I'm glad you didn't wait any longer than you did.
Yeah.
I think our friend Andy, who's Nerdsmithing, who has a great YouTube channel, said he waited 36 hours outside Funko HQ last year to grab the San Diego exclusives. That's insane too. Well done, Andy. I hope you got what you wanted, man, because that's long time.
His fault. It's Andy's fault that everybody can't go up to the store until 6 a.m.
That's probably part of it, huh? Yeah. Yep.
That's devotion.
It's a long time, man.
Like I said, I can only imagine because I think this is actually going to be my first preview night at STCC.
That's the night, man. That is the night.
And so, like I said, I think it's going to be interesting. I said we have a game plan already set up for what we're going to do.
We need to
fail miserably, but it's it's set up.
Yeah,
and you're right. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say that you're exactly right. And let's be honest. We've all collected something for a really long time. And in the Funko world or any world when you're collecting, one thing that you get over time is smarter on how to manipulate the system as much as they will allow you to get the things that you need to get. And we all know of I think for us, it was at New York Comic-Con, press was in there and we kept seeing people getting ahead of us every day. And then finally we had the medical badges. That's what gets me is the med badges, the people that run with medical badges. No, I put a disclaimer. I'm not saying there's some people that deserve it. I get it. Okay. But there's people with those people that dead sprint to every booth. And you're just like, what are you doing in this line? I got here at 6. We did it at Emerald City Comic-Con. I was in the Funko booth on Saturday in 2018. And I got there at 5 a.m. We went up to the hall at 10 to wait. And we were like the first 4 people in line. And then the med line was to the right of us. There were people that didn't get in that line until 11 a.m., right when they opened the doors. And they let all of them in front of us.
Yeah. That's crazy. I've been in a line for a panel in San Diego that does that too, right? I was like third in line, and then all of these ADA people showed up, and they let the ADA people in first. Like, it is what it is, man.
Well, there's nothing more rage-inducing than waiting, 4 hours in line, and then you see somebody jump in front of you. You're like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah.
You start losing your shit.
I get it, but there's got to be a more fair way to do it than just let the ADA line in front. I thought I was going to be in the front row for the Teen Titans Go panel, but I was in the second row.
Oh.
Well, here we go. So, but we'll be at San Diego. So I'll bring a bat, and then you hit me on the shin and shatter my fibula. And I'll have a medical badge, and we can all get in.
Or we can go without, the actual like implications of pain and beatings, and just bring a pair of crutches.
Right? You walk up to registration with your crutches and then ditch them.
Hey,
yeah, there you go.
We can all rent Rascals. How about that?
That sounds better than walking anyhow.
That's what I'm saying. We all rent Rascal scooters, and like I said, it just goes on from there.
Right? All these years I've been using my own legs like a sucker.
I know.
I'd totally be down for a Rascal.
So, speaking of San Diego, we had San Diego Comic-Con Funko Pop news this week, guys.
It's some good ones. Yeah.
I see Piper's face.
Dude,
Well, hold on. Does that mean you're not excited for the Batman holding the tote bag?
okay. Literally everything that has either been announced or leaked is just the dumbest garbage. Like I'm gonna come out and say it is. It's awful. It's
Piper loves Batman.
I don't love Batman. This is the opposite of my feelings inside. The worst superhero ever next to Superman.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, there'll be fights.
Oh,
like,
I was like, Nate's gonna be so pissed.
Do you see all those Batmans behind Nate?
I got some Batmans back here in the case, and a really good friend of mine. She's an artist for DC, so it's like, even with the connection, it's still I don't like it. But that's beside the point. At least make it a cool Batman, not a Batman that's shopping for grandma. It's like, no, man, whatever.
I have a different opinion. I think that it's 50.
Well, I'm going to tell your opinion wrong.
Yeah, okay, we'll take
It's the worst.
What do you guys think? I like, we're Harry Potter collectors, so I do like the Harry Potter. I think the only thing that stands out that I didn't think, other things I just don't collect, but the golden Demigorgon, I think that's lazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
that one.
I'm honestly excited about the Batman with
Me too.
I'm a sucker for anything with the Comic-Con logo on it. So as soon as I saw that, I'm like, because like if you're not going to San Diego Comic-Con this year, or if you've never been, I don't know why you want that one, but like I love San Diego Comic-Con, so I have to have that.
No, that's what like kind of weirded me out when they said it was a shared exclusive. Like it's just why would you want like that if you're not going? Why would you want that?
Didn't they say it was shared with the T-shirt booth, like the official San Diego Comic-Con T-shirt booth?
I
think Brian tweeted out that it was going to be shared with the Funko shop.
Oh, well, at least that's a little. I guess
it's like a Funko pop-up shop. So it's the Funko booth, then the San Diego. I guess Funko is managing or being part of the San Diego merch booth, and then they're also going to release it at the Funko shop, which I get it. Maybe they're trying to make money for San Diego, but still, it kind of takes away of the authenticity of the piece. If you ask me, it's like, what did you do to earn this? We had to go, and part of collecting is earning your stripes and your badges, right? Because we have to wait through things. We have to pay to get there. We have to be at the con and deal with the sweaty people and the stink. And I'm not saying every person, but it's part
it is every
of
person.
Ownership. Just about every person.
That is pretty much me and everyone else.
So it does take away. It's disheartening, but I'm happy.
You have to.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
yes.
This is probably like 60 something badges. Like you have to earn your stripes.
You have earned your stripes, sir.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree. It feels like it's kind of a robbery to have it be available somewhere else when it's a Comic-Con exclusive bag holding Batman. It just doesn't make sense. Why would you put that somewhere else? And to correct Piper, Batman is the best superhero. So I'm definitely going to be grabbing that because I'm going to be at Comic-Con. And for me, it's more of like it's going to symbolize the event for me. Like I'm going to look at that pop and be like, okay, that was Comic-Con number 50. I was there.
I'm sorry, being a rich ninja doesn't mean you have superpowers. Like, that's all it is. Let's be serious.
He's DC's Iron Man.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe.
But
at least Iron Man, Tony Stark was smart.
Oh, Batman
man.
Smart. No, you're throwing
we could go all night here.
Next
shots.
Oh, my God.
Shots fired.
I'm just joking.
It's hard enough with Nate being, I said, the lone kind of like DC fan on our podcast, anyways, and so Nate gets beat up a lot.
Yeah, I mean DC's kind of the minority in the major, comic community, I think. So I'm used to that.
But honestly, like I said, Nate, like I said, to your point, like I said, the Marvel stuff that they've been putting out recently sucks. Like comic book wise, DC has, like I said, probably some of the best writing right now compared to Marvel.
I love their animated stuff. I love their comics. DC's killing it. I just wish they could get their movies together because they do suck.
They're trying to catch up.
I really like Shazam, but let's not talk about Justice League or Batman vs Superman. They were just god awful.
But you have to. So I'm a Marvel fan too, but I'm not. I don't fall into that gray area. I like both. I think that I like the Marvel universe more than DC right now, but I still think the best comic book movies, in my opinion, now you guys will probably disagree, but are the Dark Knight series, the Christopher Nolan Batman. Yeah. I mean, that by far is the epitome of a good comic book series in my eyes. There are some fanfare in there, but I like it. That's my favorite.
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorites too. And today is actually the 14th anniversary of Batman Begins, so it's cool that you brought that up.
Hey,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Nolan trilogy. I totally agree with you there.
Yeah, they're good movies.
I watched them.
And you thought they sucked.
No, I actually did. I liked them.
Okay.
I will give you that. Those are good movies, and I do like all the DC animated stuff. I think
Good
it's
point.
top notch.
Yeah, they definitely, at least up until Into the Spider-Verse, they totally owned Marvel on animated properties.
Minus the Killing Joke, but so we don't want to talk about that.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, they definitely have some misses, but I agree. For the most part, they make some great stuff. And I'm actually excited. Into the Spider-Verse, to Larry's point, makes me excited for the future of Marvel animated because it's been lacking seriously. So I think, that might cue them to start making some better quality stuff.
Yeah, I think so too. Batman versus Ninja Turtles, top notch.
I haven't seen that yet, but I really want to see it.
It does look good. That's what, because you read that, the way it rolls off your tongue, you're like, what? And then I was reading I was actually in a comic book store today, and I was looking at that. I was like, man, this looks pretty good. I wonder how that turned out.
Yeah, I've read the first series. Specifically, I think they're on Batman and Ninja Turtles, like volume 3 now. The first series is really good. I said I read a little bit of the second series, but yeah, the first series is great.
Cool. Keith in the chat says Batman versus TMT was dope.
There we go.
Keith says you need to watch it, Nate. Go watch it.
I actually have the DC Universe app, so I'll have to see if it's on there because I think they're going to be adding that soon.
Nate, wait, you subscribed?
I did. I wanted to see Titans. I wanted to see Swamp Thing, even though they already said it's going to get canceled after one episode. Why the hell would they do that to their own series? But that's cool. Doom Patrol. I've been watching it. It's really good. I'm really enjoying it. Plus, I can go rewatch Batman the Animated Series, which it's just a timeless classic for me. Feet of Clay. Beware the Gray Ghost. You got such great episodes there. So I'm actually really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the app.
It's fair, man. So
we have to talk about the podcast.
Yeah. So Rick and Piper, on your last episode of your podcast, you guys talked a lot of San Diego. You talked about some exclusive you wanted to see. I thought maybe we could run through that with you guys real quick too, but I'll let you start. Rick, what is the one SDCC exclusive, like either the actual figure or like a line that you really hope we get something for this year, right? There's 70. We now, like you guys didn't know when you did your podcast, there's at least 75 exclusives.
And I think
there's
we got
be
72 and 76.
Yeah, I know. That was awesome. It's right in the middle. I laughed at that because I listened to the day that dropped. I'm like, you guys like averaged that out and you were perfect. So what do you think, Rick? What do you want to see this year?
Let me see. So if you go by what we want, like we know we're not going to get, right? But what I would love to see is Always Sunny, something.
Yeah.
You jerk.
But Piper and I agree on that, right? And but what I think realistically I'd like to see is either a Parks and Rec exclusive or like a Janet Snakehole or maybe Mouse Rat. I know that you guys talk with that with Talking Pops, but still, I think that's one of them I like to see, or the first Office convention exclusive. One of those two I would like to see a lot.
That would be cool. I'll talk because one of mine's Parks and Rec, right? So I love the Parks and Rec pops. The Mouse Rat T-shirt, Andy. As long as it's not like a Hollywood HQ exclusive and impossible to get, I'm all for whatever that is. As long as there's no crazy hard to get Parks and Rec exclusive, give it to me at San Diego. That's awesome. So yeah, that's definitely one of mine. My other one you guys talked about on your show too. I'd love to see something with The Simpsons, right? That line seems to have so much potential. It could be anyone. There's thousands of characters or thousands of possibilities at least. Give me something from The Simpsons or Parks and Rec, and I'll be happy. What about you, Piper?
I don't remember what I said on the show was the other one.
You said Soldier 7.
No, that was the
Conan. You said who makes World of Warcraft? Blizzard?
Oh, Blizzard.
You said something from Blizzard.
Oh, yeah. I would like some, because there's a new expansion for WoW that's coming out. Yeah. That would be cool. But one that I know that's not coming out, but I really, really wish it would. And finally, and I think millions of people can get behind me on it. Millions, literally. I want to see a Spawn because okay, you guys joke about DC Marvel. Like me, Spawn is like the only superhero I care about. Like for a long time, that was the first thing that got me hooked on the comics. So I would love to see something. And the movie's coming out sometime, maybe, eventually, probably. So
be a good
time. But I know McFarlane's not going to like release any rights to anything because he's gonna make all his own money.
Yeah.
So, but it'll be nice. It's a nice pipe dream.
But that's one of those big properties that you don't hear people ask for a lot, right? Like everyone is always asking for Office and like, I don't know, Teen Wolf. And like, there's things where you hear just come up over and over and over again. I don't hear Spawn that much. So hopefully one day.
Teen Wolf.
Who is clamoring for more Teen Wolf?
I don't know, man. But right, that was a thing, right? All the Twitter Q&As, it was always Teen Wolf, please.
I saw that too.
Yeah.
No, I could totally get behind. I said
Teen Wolf?
No, a Spawn pop. Just because there's very few pops, like I said, where like it just I need so desperately. Like I said, I'll do anything to get it. And like I said, I've only had like 3 of those situations in my entire collecting life cycle, I guess. One of them was, I said, when the comic version of Hellboy first came out. So with that chase with the horns, like I said, I couldn't order a case of them fast enough just because I said I wanted that Hellboy with the horns so freaking bad. Like I said beyond anything, I'm like I had to drop everything. I said, you know what? I bought an entire case of them just to ensure that I would get that I would get that chase, because I'm like it was something that I had to have. I said, listen, now if you get it, you can get it super cheap, but whatever. No, but I'm the same way. Like I said, I love a Spawn. Honestly, I said, the latest release. I said this non-San Diego of the new Spider-Man Pops release. We got that Kraven, we got that Sandman. I would love to basically wrap out like a Sinister Six. I'd like them to release a Chameleon. Like I said, if I can get a Chameleon, because I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. If I could wrap out basically a Sinister Six pop set, that'd be amazing.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, I like it. And there's some logic to that too.
Yeah.
There's got to be a Chameleon coming soon. Why not San Diego?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Best place.
Yeah. Cool. What about you, Nate? Mezco Rise, right? Mezco announced the Gomez earlier this week, but there's going to be one more 112 exclusive. What do you hope it's going to be?
Well, I will touch on the pops just for a second, because you guys mentioned this in your last show, and actually this might tempt me to buy if I saw it. Is a My Hero Academia All Might or an Izuku pop. That would be really cool. I can just see All Might in like his classic stance,
Yeah.
Hands at the hips. That would be cool.
Ricky, that would be a great one to see, wouldn't it?
Oh yes, it would.
But there's something going on there.
Yes, yep. I know. Inside jokes.
Yeah.
Nope. Inside facts.
So Mezco wise though, yes. So Larry's right. Mezco did release one of their exclusives. It's the street edition of Gomez, which Gomez is their own mascot. They did one before where he's in a suit. This one, he's in like street style clothes. He comes with a hoverboard, some really cool, colorful accessories. So that's a cool exclusive. But I would love to see them finally drop the Jim Gordon with Bat Signal figure. I've been dying for a Mezco Jim Gordon since I got I have almost all their Batmans. They're right there. I'm a huge fan of the line, and I think a Jim Gordon with Bat Signal makes so much sense. I would love to add it to the collection.
No, Nate, I haven't followed up with you ever since they dropped that Gomez. What'd you really think about that Gomez? Like I said, for the street edition, like to me, for an exclusive, like I said, it's like my own perspective, it just seemed kind of lazy. Like even with the because I know they did the same thing kind of with the Punisher last year. Like so, they basically released like the advanced version of the Punisher. But at least with the Punisher, like so the accessories and it made a little bit more sense. Like with this, with their own character, like. Especially with how they did the Asian edition. The Asian edition was like really, really awesome. Mm-hmm. But then, like I said, to have the street edition, which is basically just a change of outfit.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I kind of expected at some point they were going to do another Gomez, just because when I got the Asian edition, I opened it up. There's an instruction booklet, and in that it talks about a hoverboard that is magnetized to his feet and a backpack. So I knew at some point they were going to do another one. It's kind of cool to see them expand their own license, but I agree with you. It would have been nice to see maybe a new character instead of a reuse of the old character. But I also look at that body and I feel like, I do toy photography stuff. Yeah. So I could use that body as somebody else standing in the background, or, whoever it is. You could make it like a Spider-Man just walking the street. So I kind of see the possibilities of what that could be. And I really like the colors of the accessories. I just know that they're going to really pop if you take photos of them. So I hear what you're saying, and I kind of wish it was something else, but I'm also kind of excited for it.
Well, one thing I wish they would do, and I'm wondering how long it's going to take Mezco to catch on, except because NECA kind of does this already, and then Hot Toys has been doing this lately. They've been releasing like accessory packs for their figures. So I know, so they just released an Iron Man accessory pack for the Hot Toys, and then I know NECA's done that for a little while. With like, they had Street Scene diorama, they have basically the accessory sets that go with like the Friday the 13th figures and the Jason figures and stuff like that. So I'm wondering when Mezco is going to hop on that train of basically just releasing basically a set of accessories. So that way, so that you can, like I said, if you don't want to go wholeheartedly into a new figure, but you can actually get some good quality accessories out.
Yeah, that would be amazing, and it makes a lot of sense. I think they would sell out of those easily because if you have one, you want to build out the accessories that you have. Whether it's guns or whatever it is, you can always use more, and they put such quality work into them. I think that's a really smart idea, actually. Give us more accessories.
There you go. I want to see that as a Mezco STCC exclusive. A bunch of hands and guns.
Here's a bunch of accessories from past figures. There you go.
Yep.
Slap an STCC sticker on there.
Yep. Sells for triple on eBay, man.
All right.
Yeah.
So, well, speaking of real quick exclusives, I said other than Funko and Nate, I said there's been a couple other exclusives that they've dropped. One of them I know, Larry, you're excited for.
Oh yeah!
Is that new Mattel figure?
I believe you're talking about the Macho Man Elite Slim Jim figure, which goes on up for pre-sale on Entertainment Earth on Tuesday. Don't go try to buy it because I want to make sure I get mine. I don't do a whole lot of wrestling figures. I think I have 4 Elites total, but I got to get that Macho Man. That one's awesome. Like, selfishly, I hope that Funko makes some type of deal with WWE and is able to make a Slim Jim pop of Macho Man, because that would make me even more excited. But I'll take that Elite. It is perfect. It is awesome.
Dude, it's so amazing. I must have.
It's the perfect SDCC exclusive, man. Right? You wouldn't get that on the shelf at Target or Walmart.
No.
Yeah.
It's so perfect for Comic-Con.
They really did a good job, and I love how everything's removable. You can take his glasses off, his hat, his jacket. You got the 2 Slim Jim boxes. I mean, they did an excellent job, and it comes in like a Slim Jim box.
Yeah,
It's really badass, actually.
Like how amazing is that? Like I said, it comes in a Slim Jim box.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
Zack
cool.
Ryder already got his. He's got an unboxing video up on the Major Wrestling Figure podcast page.
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
That guy, man, I think he doesn't even collect stuff. He just does it to get all this stuff, because as his career falls off, he'll be able to flip everything.
No, dude, he's such a big collector, dude.
He is.
He really
I'm
is.
just joking. I
Yeah,
just
like,
like funny when he
his-
gets the Funko and he box and he just rips it out.
Oh,
Yeah,
I get
well,
so jealous of him every year because NECA always sends him their exclusives. Like, he got the Turtle Pack last year. I know he's going to get that Capture of Splinter 4-pack, which looks freaking awesome. So
he got it.
He did?
No, I got it.
Oh,
I pre-ordered
nice.
it.
Oh,
Nice.
nice. You got in on that. And I heard those went, like within a minute? 2
Yeah.
minutes?
Yeah,
Man, you
every
must have
day
been
a
ready.
minute.
crazy fast.
Yeah, that's crazy how fast that stuff sells out. It's one of the major things I'm going after is that Capture of Splinter 4-pack.
It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge.
It's
Well,
yeah.
Then I don't know how popular it's gonna be. It seems like it'd be popular. I said, but there's that Ghostbusters 4-pack where it's limited to like 1984.
Mhm.
Oh, that's cool. I
Yeah,
get it.
It's always up and down with them, right? Because I don't even think pre-sales are a true precursor to how well exclusives sell at the con. Because when I've been there the couple times before, I know that pre-sales, this year it seems like they're doing heavy on pre-sales, and I understand why. I mean, that's the secondary market right there. You can just say, you can probably mark that up to 70% secondary market, 30% collectors, right? So when you go to the con, it feels like there's still a lot of I don't what am I trying to say, demand for everything, but there's a lot of that stuff left over too.
No, absolutely agree. And then here it's both sides of the spectrum too. And then there's some of the exclusives that no one wants, but then it just takes that one thing to make it basically everyone has to have it.
Yeah.
Case in point, because I was talking to Larry earlier this week about it. That stupid Tony Stark holding the Iron Man.
Oh yeah.
No one wanted that freaking pop. Everyone complained about it. I said, everyone, this pop is complete dog shit. This is so lazy, blah 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 blah. And now it's like an $80 pop.
Well, I think that one of the terrible things too about collecting Funko stuff when something goes south, season 8 Game of Thrones, my whole and I can say this on this podcast, my whole fucking collection fell through the floor. And I don't care about value, but it just seems like even if you're not a fan of the show, okay, let's say season 8 ruined it for you. I've been with Game of Thrones since like 2002 or something with the books. He doesn't write them fast enough, so there you go. But still, I have an attachment to those characters. I don't think you're going to get book versions. You're not going to get Young Griff, or you're not going to get Stoneheart, any of those characters that you see in the books that transition over. But you should still have some attachment. And it seems like as the secondary market flutters away, it's so temperamental. Like I can tell you right now, this time at the end of the year, Supernatural pops will be like $7,000 for the complete set because it's the last season, right?
Good point, man.
Temperamental collecting.
Yep. Spec buy. Where's Cletus?
And then especially now, so with Game of Thrones off the air now, I said what's going to take its spot? I said, and the big bets, like I said, of course, HBO has Watchmen coming out. I said, but they're still hedging big on Westworld, and those Westworld pops are complete discount bin pops now. And so it's just like I said, I picked up a few just on spec, just like I said, I could care less about them whatsoever, and I'm not afraid to say it because I'm like I know someone out there is gonna want it. I know someone out there is gonna want it that I can trade for eventually for something that I want. But it's gonna happen. Like I said, it's gonna happen because I said that's the way it always is.
Right.
The way it happens.
You trade it to the guy who's got a mad crush on Dolores for something awesome.
Or you trade it to a guy who, like I said, who did trade a whole bunch of Star Wars pops to this guy who had some Jollibees.
Yes. That was a good trade, man.
Yeah, it's crazy that the one season can just cause so much upset, on the pops that have come out.
Yeah,
Are you guys Game of Thrones fans?
Oh yeah,
I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan.
Huge fan.
And like I said, it's just that's season 8. I don't even know what to say.
Not even to get into it, but to build for that long, to do what you did for that long. I think that the body of the work to put that much in it. We'll see with Star Wars.
Yeah,
right. That's where they're moving to now.
That's the next thing.
Good luck.
Well, it's just like season 7 for me was one of my favorite seasons of the whole show. Like they did such a great job building the hype for that last season, and then they just let it falter. It just fell apart, and they rushed it, and it just seemed like, why wouldn't you just give us a couple more episodes to let this kind of play out a little bit better, and not shove everything into 6 episodes and then just end the show? Because it just felt like such a robbery for the fans that have been there for so long.
Well, and it was complete dog shit. Like it was just like I don't even think there's a way to sugarcoat it, just because, like I said, stuff was just so lazy, and there were so many buildups to different things. Like I said, throughout, like I said, this entire, like I said, 7 seasons that preceded it, all these buildups and all these things, like hey, you know what? Hey, there's a meeting to this, and there's a meeting to this, and like, oh, what's this? And just the way that things happen and the things progress. Like, oh, I said, what drove the Night King to do what he did? Oh, I don't know. He's dead now. Who cares?
Fuck him.
Fuck him. Fuck him. He's dead. Okay, moving on to something else.
Yeah. You said it right. They fucked up the whole thing, and I held back. I said I'll let season 8 stand on its own, and then I'm going to say it. It's the worst fucking season of any show that has been epic to end, even worse than Lost, which I think is like
it joins the ranks. It joins the ranks of Lost. It joins the ranks of Dexter, because like I said, Dexter.
Yeah.
Like I said, the end of that last episode of Dexter was also complete dog shit. It just I don't know. It just
you're right.
They left. Like I said, they just left. They're like, hey, you know what? Hey, fans. Like I said, we enjoyed this journey for you, but now you know what? Why don't you just sit down and let us take a shit on you, and then enjoy it.
It's like HBO like just wanted to cut the finance. Like, this is costing us way too much money. Get this shit over with.
Well, they wanted it. No, they wanted it. HBO pushed so hard for it, but D&D were like, "Nah, we're done after great seasons."
Yeah, they offered them 10 episodes at 2 hours apiece.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
God, it's so horrible to hear.
Yeah, right.
Because they want, like I said, they wanted that Star Wars money. That's what like, they got that Star Wars money now coming in.
Speaking of Star Wars, I felt like Padme in episode 3, breaking my heart.
I killed them. I killed them all.
I'm dying from sadness.
The women,
Even the youngling.
children.
Oh God.
I don't get that reference.
Yeah. Oh, all right. I think we've covered everything except for Pops. That's the way I like
good
it.
though. That's a good thing, right?
That's the way I like it.
Normally, people do get to hear you guys talk a lot of Pops, so it's good to bring up some other stuff.
Yeah, we're getting a different side of you here.
Yeah.
That's perfect, right? There was no news or anything really. Like we were trying. So
I
messaged you like I think we're just have to talk about Funko.
This is
which is
perfect.
fine.
I love it.
Oh, yeah, it's cool. So we usually wrap up after about an hour. We're at the hour mark. Jeremy, Nate, was there anything you guys wanted to bring up?
No, just it was great talking to you guys. Thanks for joining us. It was good to learn about you, and can't wait to see you at SDCC.
Yeah.
Piper, I'm going to buy you one of those Batman with the Comic-Con coat.
You know what? Oh, that's fine. You may buy me one. I will accept it, and I will. I mean, I have my green chrome one back here, so I didn't throw that in the garbage.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
I'll take that off your hands.
Well, okay. Well, I'll cut you a deal. I'll do PPG plus 6%.
Nate doesn't even know what that means.
I don't. But, hey, Pop price guide, right?
Yeah.
Well done.
I've hung out with Larry and Jeremy enough.
So I was gonna say you've sat next to me for like 4 years now. You know enough.
Yeah.
So Rick, Piper, is there anything you guys want to talk about before we wrap up? Anything you want to plug?
We don't.
Yeah, give us a plug.
We don't have things to plug.
All right. Well, where can we find you? Where could we find you online?
Do it, Ricky.
All right, I'll do the plug. So we have a website that you guys may or may not know about. We do some nice and fun articles. We have some opinion pieces as well as some FAQs for things, shipping pops and going to cons and doing all that great things. You can find that at collectpops.com. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Pop Alliance Pod, Facebook.com/Pop Collectors Alliance. And we have a cool group. If you're a good collector and you believe in the community as much as we do, you can go to the official Pop Collectors Alliance community on Facebook.
Awesome.
Nice.
I believe I follow you everywhere now, and I even joined that Facebook group. So it's got my seal of approval. Even if you're not, it's the best, even if you're not a big fan of Facebook groups.
There you go.
Groups are amazing.
Facebook is amazing.
Facebook is amazing.
Do you hear us, Facebook? You are amazing. I know you can.
You're so great, Facebook.
They're going to send us our check now.
I like Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp. I love them all.
Instagram is pretty great. Speaking of Instagram, you can follow the STS Guys at STS Guys. Then you can head over to Twitter and follow us at STS Guys. And we're on Facebook at the STS Guys. And I am Larry from the STS Guys.
Shilling like a villain.
And if you like Funko Pops, you should head over to ShubiStore.com and you can get all your Funko Pops. You can get Game of Thrones. You can get those Simpsons Pops because I just got mine earlier this week and they are awesome. And if you enter code STS Guys, you're going to save 10%.
Nice.
Oh, Podcoin. If you like podcast, you should totally check out the new podcast app called Podcoin. Piper, Rick, are you familiar with Podcoin? Are you guys on Podcoin?
I think we're everywhere.
Awesome. So go to Podcoin. It's on Android. It's on iPhone, right? You can get in the App Store. You can listen to STS Guys. You can listen to Pop Collectors Alliance. You can listen to Talk Pops, DC Figures and Collectibles. You can listen to all your favorite podcasts. And guess what? You can earn money while you're doing so. So go check out Podcoin. It's pretty great.
It's the best.
It's they need a jingle, man.
That was a good jingle.
It's like a local furniture store's jingle.
Yeah.
London Gold.
Yeah. London Gold.
London Gold.
Shut up. They're listening.
So for our side hustle, I think we should come up with a jingle for them.
We should. Me and the Podcoin guy are tight.
I'm putting it in attacking the board of business plans.
Yeah.
So for episode 88 of the STS Guys, I have been Jeremy.
Hey, it's Larry.
Hey guys, it's been Nate.
And then also Rick and Piper from the Pop Collectors Alliance.
Yes, thank you guys.
Thank
you.
you for joining, gentlemen.
Thank you, audience. Have a great night. Goodbye.
Bye.